I killed my father with kindness. Or so the hospice nurses whispered when they thought I wasn't listening. He lay there in that sterile room in Chicago's North Side, tubes snaking into his arms like accusations, his once booming voice reduced to rasps about regrets and loose ends. But it was my sister-in-law, Elena, who delivered the real death blow, not with a pillow, but with a notary stamp on a will that erased me from the family fortune like I'd been a bad dream. The irony? I'd spent years protecting her dirty little secret, the one that could have landed her in federal prison. And now, as Dad's labored breaths echoed in my ears, she perched on his bed like a vulture in Lululemon, cooing about fresh starts while her manicured nails tapped the revised document. I stood frozen in the doorway, the scent of antiseptic burning my nostrils, realizing too late that the woman I'd called family had just buried me alive. But here's the part that would make the tabloids explode if it ever leaked. I didn't cry. I smiled. Because that goddamn storage unit key, dangling from a cheap keychain shaped like the Sears Tower, now Willis, but Dad never updated, wasn't some pathetic consolation prize. It was the detonator to a bomb I'd been wiring for a decade, one that would swap our lives in ways she'd never see coming. They say revenge is a dish best served cold, but mine was cryogenic, frozen in the shadows of a black market biotech lab on the outskirts of the city, where desperate souls traded flesh for justice. It started 10 years ago, back when I was Madison Hale, fresh out of Northwestern with a poli-sci degree and stars in my eyes, interning at my dad's law firm in the Loop. Hale and Associates wasn't just any outfit. It handled white-collar cases for the elite, CEOs dodging SEC probes, politicians laundering campaign cash through shell companies. Dad built it from nothing after Mom died in that car wreck, turning grief into billable hours. I was his golden girl, the one who'd take over someday. Elena slithered into our lives at my brother Marcus's engagement party in Lincoln Park. She was a vision tall, olive-skinned, with raven hair that cascaded like a bad omen and eyes that promised sin wrapped in virtue. Marcus, my baby brother, the golden boy who coasted through life on Dad's dime, fell hard. She was a consultant for some vague marketing firm, but I clocked her from the jump, too polished, too evasive about her past. From Philly originally, she'd say with that honeyed accent that masked a South Jersey edge. I let it slide because Marcus lit up around her. And after Mom, we all craved that glow. The betrayal hit like a freight train 6 months later. I was working late, buried in Discovery docs for a fraud case against a pharma exec. Elena popped by the office unannounced, all smiles and takeout tie, but her eyes darted to the locked file room. Just need to borrow Marcus's notes, she lied. I waved her in, trusting the sister-in-law glow. Big mistake. By morning, the firm servers were wiped, client lists, wire transfers, the works. The feds swarmed,
pinning it on an inside job.
Dad's reputation tanked, cases evaporated overnight. They needed a scapegoat, and Elena fed them my name. Anonymous tip, Madison Hale, the ambitious intern with access and motive. Motive? I'd just aced the bar exam. But the evidence piled up, forged emails from my account, timestamps matching my login. I took the fall to protect the firm, pleading out to a misdemeanor data breach. 2 years probation, disbarment dreams shattered, and a black mark that followed me like a stalker. Dad believed me, but the damage was done. Marcus married her anyway, whispering apologies over prison visitor coffee. She's scared.
Mads.
It was an accident. Accident my ass. I'd hacked her burner phone later, old school sleuthing with a contact from the public defender's office, and found the text to a fixer in Atlantic City. Hail files are gold. Wires en route. She'd been skimming for months, using Marcus as cover. But I stayed silent. Family first.
Right?
Told myself it was for him. For Dad's legacy. Buried the proof in that storage unit Dad rented under my name years back. A dusty 10 by 10 in Cicero, filled with Mom's old boxes and my evidence files, hard drives,
Printouts.
the works. Key stayed on my ring.
Forgotten until now.
Fast forward to the present. Dad's pancreatic cancer diagnosis turned the world upside down. Stage 4. 3 months tops. The family gathered in his Wrigleyville brownstone, air thick with grief and Gatorade. Elena played the saint, organic smoothies, essential oils, reading psalms like she wasn't a lapsed Catholic with a rap sheet. Marcus, oblivious as ever, nodded along.
Me?
I was the ghost, showing up with casseroles that went uneaten. My law career derailed into freelance paralegal gigs scraping by in a Pilsen walk-up. One night, as Dad dozed under morphine haze, Elena cornered me in the kitchen. "He's rewriting the will tomorrow," she said, voice like silk over razor wire. "Says he wants to honor intentions. You'll get the unit sentimental. You know." Her smile was a shark's grin. I knew then. She'd poisoned him against me, dredging up the scandal as proof I was unstable. Whispers about my erratic behavior, therapy sessions I'd faked to appease the probation officer. By dawn, the notary arrived. Dad's hand shook, but he signed. The empire, the firm, the lake house in Michigan, the portfolio worth 8 figures, went to Marcus, with Elena as trustee.
Me?
A key and a note. For the memories?
Kiddo. Love.
Dad. I didn't scream. Didn't beg. Just pocketed the key and drove west on I-90. Rain lashing the windshield like judgment. Pulled into a dive bar off Harlem Avenue. Nursed a Jameson until the edges blurred. That's when the ad caught my eye on my phone, a burner Google search for corporate espionage revenge. Buried in the spam, Neuralink knockoff, black market neural mapping. Body autonomy reclaimed, swap perspectives, rewrite narratives. Sounded like sci-fi bullshit, but the contact was local, a disgraced surgeon from Rush University, peddling experimental tech to the desperate. Not a full swap, his email read. More like overlay. Your mind in their driver's seat. Theirs in limbo. Temporary. Ethical? Debatable. Effective? Absolutely. I met him in a nondescript warehouse in Bedford Park. The kind of place where truckers shot pool and dreams went to die.
Dr.
Harlan Voss, mid-50s. Wild Einstein hair. Lab coat over a Blackhawks hoodie. "It's VR on steroids," he explained over lukewarm coffee. Nanites injected subdermally. Synced to a neural rig. You possess the target for 48 hours. Their body, your commands. Muscle memory intact. But decisions? Yours. Wake M with a code phrase, or let it fade. Side effects, migraines, moral erosion. Price tag, $50K. Half upfront. I liquidated my Roth IRA. Told myself it was investment in closure. Why Elena? Because she was the architect. Marcus was collateral. But her? She'd twisted Dad's final days into her empire building. And the storage unit? I'd checked it that afternoon. Dusty shelves, Mom's quilts, and the box labeled Ease Shadow. Inside, the hard drive with her transaction logs, photos of her with the fixer, even a flash drive of voice memos where she laughed about framing the bitch sister. Leverage, if I could get it to the right ears. But direct? She'd lawyer up. Bury it. This way, her body, my moves, I'd make her confess. On video. From her own lips. Plant the evidence in her accounts. Watch her crumble from the inside. The procedure was a nightmare. Voss's clinic was a converted auto shop. Fluorescent buzz and the tang of ozone. He numbed my neck, slid the injector in, felt like ice water flooding my veins. Then the rig, a clunky helmet wired to a laptop. Elena's photo uploaded as target sync. She has to be within 50 miles, he warned. And willing, nah. Just close enough. Proximity hack. I lay back, heart hammering, as the world dissolved into static. Last words. Code phrase is Philly shadows. Say it to Bale. Darkness. Then light, blinding, disorienting. I blinked, and suddenly I was staring at my own face in a bathroom mirror. But it wasn't mine. Elena's eyes, darker, sharper, stared back. Her body, lithe, toned from those soul-crushing Pilates classes. I flexed her fingers, felt the unfamiliar strength. Holy shit. It worked. I was in the Gold Coast condo. Marcus's bachelor pad upgraded to marital fortress. He was at work. Some mid-level sales gig Elena had bullied him into. Time to move. First, the will. Elena drove her sleek Audi to the attorney's office in River North, heels clicking like gunfire. The lawyer, a weasel named Hargrove who'd handled the rewrite, looked up surprised. Mrs. Hale, everything all right? I leaned in, channeling her Ice Queen vibe. Second thoughts. Dad's lucid today, wants an addendum for Madison. Forged his signature on a codicil restoring my share. Easy as pie with her access codes. Hargrove didn't blink. Elena's name opened doors. Back home, I scanned it to the server. Deleted the originals. Boom, inheritance glitch incoming. But that was appetizer. Main course, the secret. I hit her laptop. Password Marcus Forever 1? Pathetic. Files upon files. Offshore accounts in the Caymans. Siphoned from Dad's firm residuals. And buried deep, the Philly connection. Turns out, Elena wasn't just a grifter. She was running from a bigger ghost. Her real name? Elena Vasquez. Daughter of a cartel lieutenant who'd flipped for the feds and vanished. She torched her old life. But the sins followed, embezzlement from her firm, which was really a front for laundering. The hack on Hale and Associates. Not random, it was to erase traces linking her to a money trail from Atlantic City casinos. I felt a thrill, dark and electric, as I wired funds, her dirty cash, back to anonymous tips lines for the IRS and FBI. Uploaded the memos to a Dropbox tied to a journalist at the Tribune, the kind who loved takedowns. But the real poetry? I called Marcus from her phone. Babe, come home early. Need to talk about the will. His voice lit up, poor sap. When he walked in, I was waiting in lingerie she'd splurged on. A bottle of Veuve chilling. I fucked up, I purred in her voice, pulling him close. Madison. She deserves better. I convinced your dad to screw her over. It was me. The confession spilled. Tears I forced. Details from the files. He recoiled, eyes wide. What the hell? Elena? I hit record on her phone. Captured every gasp, every plea. I did it to protect us. I lied. Twisting the knife. By the end, he was packing a bag, muttering about divorce. Night fell, and the nanites hummed, a low buzz in my skull, like a migraine brewing. Voss's warning echoed, 24 hours down.
24 to go.
I slipped out, Elena's yoga bag slung over shoulder, heading to Cicero. The storage unit loomed under sodium lamps, key cold in her palm. Inside, the air was musty, ghosts of Mom's perfume lingering. I dragged out the box, synced the hard drive to her phone via Bluetooth. Uploaded everything, the frame job, the cartel whispers, the will forgery. Timed it to drip feed to media outlets at midnight. But as I stood there, sweat beading on her forehead, doubt crept in. This body, it moved like silk, commanded rooms without effort. My own, probably slumped in Voss's shop, waiting for the pullback. Was I becoming her? The power? The lies, it tasted too good. I pocketed a wad of cash from the unit's emergency stash, Dad's rainy day fund, and drove to a club in Wicker Park. Elena's haunts. Bodies pulsed under strobes, bass thumping like a second heart. I danced, her hips swaying with predatory grace.
Drawing eyes.
Whispers. A guy bought drinks, I flirted, felt the rush of her charisma. For a moment, I forgot. This was revenge, not rebirth. Dawn broke gray over the lake, and the overlay flickered. Marcus's text blew up her phone. You're a monster. Papers coming. Dad's nurse called, codicil filed. Confusion in his voice.
Good.
But then, the twist started unraveling. A voicemail from Voss. Hail? Complication. Target's neural map, it's not clean. Echoes. Get out now. Echoes? What the fuck? I raced back to the condo, body aching like I'd run a marathon in stilettos. Marcus was there, red-eyed. Lawyer on speaker. Fraud. Elena. The addendum, it's legit. But your tracks. He trailed off as I burst in. Our eyes met, his confusion, my borrowed panic. Mads? Is that you?
How?
The swap wasn't full, glimpses. Voss said. But Marcus, the empath, the brother who'd visited me weekly during probation, he saw through the mask. Your walk. The way you hold your mouth when you're pissed. Panic clawed. I bolted, but he grabbed her arm. My arm? Wait. Elena's been
off.
The will. The secrets I dug last night. Philly? Cartel? Jesus. What did she do to you? He knew fragments, pieced from my drunken rants over years. The room spun. I shoved him off, fled to the bathroom, stared at her reflection. Say the code. End it. But as I whispered Philly shadows, nothing. The nanites glitched, stuck. Hours blurred. Sirens wailed distant feds. Media? I holed up in a motel off Lakeshore Drive. Elena's credit card maxing out on burner phones. Called Voss. Line dead. The drive showed more. Not just her crimes.
But mine?
No. Twisted. A file. Hail contingency. My signature on a backdated transfer. Siphoning firm funds to her accounts. She'd framed me deeper. Planted it years ago. But the timestamp. Pre-hack. I'd authorized it. Memory fragmented. Nights I'd blacked out. Her girls' wine sessions laced with something. Roofies? To cover her tracks. Make me complicit. Rage boiled. But so did fear. Her body rebelled, nausea. Visions flashing. Her childhood in Kensington. Beatings from a father who pimped her out young. Cartel blood. Yeah. But victim too. Echoes. Voss's tech pulled it all. Trauma overlays. Bleeding into me. I saw myself through her eyes. The stuck-up sister. Hoarding Dad's love. Blocking her climb. You suffered for me? No, I'd taken the fall thinking it was accident. But she'd orchestrated. Knowing I'd shield family. Deep betrayal.
Yes.
But mutual? I'd buried her truth to keep peace. Let her rot in my silence. Climax hit at the hospice. Elena, stormed in, demanding to see Dad. Nurses parted. Her status opened doors. He lay frilier, eyes milky. Elena? What? I knelt, voice cracking, hers. But my words.
Dad.
It's Madison. Listen. The confession poured. Her crimes. The frame. The swap. His face crumpled. My girls. Both broken. But as monitors beeped frantic, he gripped her hand, mine. Forgive. Or it consumes. Heart rate spiked, code blue. They wheeled him away. And I collapsed. Nanites frying. Pullback hit like lightning, world inverting. I woke in Vasa's shop. Body my own. Sore and small. He loomed.
Grim.
Glitch resolved. But fallout. News blared. Elena Hale. Arrested for fraud. Ranting about body thieves in custody. Marcus. Exonerating me publicly. Will restored. Dad? Flatline minutes after. Cause, stress-induced. Twist, the storage key? Not just evidence. Inside. A letter from Mom. Predating all to me. About Elena. She's your shadow. Mads. Save her. Or lose yourself. She'd known. Suspected the pull. Cartel ties? Mom's intuition. Buried. Elena's trial looms, I testify.
Truth serum and facts.
But in quiet nights, I feel echoes, her fears in my dreams. Revenge won. But at what cost? Did I exploit a key to freedom? Or unlock hell for us both? She rots in Supermax. Writing letters I burn. Marcus visits. Eyes haunted. You did it for him, for us. But as Chicago winters bite, I wonder, was the swap mine? Or hers all along? The line blurred. And now? Who holds the real power? The weeks after the swap blurred into a haze of depositions and double espressos. The kind you chug black in those hole-in-the-wall spots on Michigan Avenue where baristas don't ask questions. I moved back into Dad's brownstone. Marcus insisted. Keys handed over with a hug that lingered too long. Like he was afraid I'd vanish. It's yours now.
Mads.
The will's ironclad. Ironclad. Funny word for paper that nearly got shredded by a viper in yoga pants. Elena's arraignment was a circus. Federal courthouse in the Loop. Protesters outside waving signs about corporate witches and justice for the little guy. She'd lawyered up with some ambulance chaser from Schaumburg. But the evidence was a tidal wave, my uploads from her own devices. Timestamps unassailable. The cartel angle? That blew it wide. ICE got involved. Digging into her Vasquez roots. Unearthing a trail from Juarez to Jersey docks. Money mule with the MBA, the prosecutor called her in leaks to the Sun-Times. I sat in the gallery. Third row. Anonymous in oversized sunnies and a Cubs hoodie. watching her in orange. Hair frizzed. That shark smile replaced by a snarl. When our eyes met, something twisted. Recognition? The echoes lingered, faint like tinnitus after a rock show. Voss had vanished. Shop gutted by feds sniffing experimental tech. Black market neural swaps. Front page if they connected dots. But I played dumb. Cited grief hallucinations in my statement. Marcus backed me. Mads was with Dad that night. Elena's stress talking. Stress. Understatement of the year. Life rebooted. American style. Therapy mandated by the estate lawyers. Probate's a bitch. Grief groups in church basements, smelling of stale donuts and regret. I dove into the firm, Hale and Associates. Rebranded under my name. Clients trickled back, drawn by the drama like moths to a bonfire. Madison Hale. The Phoenix, one silver-haired partner toasted at the welcome drinks. Phoenix. Yeah. Risen from ashes I didn't start. But nights were war zones. Dreams spliced. My probation hearings morphing into her cartel safe houses. Gunfire popping like fireworks over Lake Michigan. I'd wake gasping. Sheets twisted. Reaching for a body that wasn't mine. The storage unit became my confessional. I'd drive out weekly. Sit on Mom's quilts. Sift files like tarot cards. Found more. Elena's diary. Hidden in a false bottom drawer. Entries from our friendship days. Madison smiles like she knows. But she doesn't. Marcus is the key, soft. Bendable. Bendable.
Christ.
She'd played us all. Puppeteering with whispers and wine. One entry gutted me. Post-hack. Her panic. Feds closing. Framed M, she'll take heat. Loyal fool. Guilt? Maybe. But survival first. Survival. The word echoed Dad's last rasp. I'd suffered her crime. Yes, disbarment. Isolation. The slow poison of family doubt. But she'd carried ghosts too. Ones that made her strike like a cornered animal. Controversial? Hell yes. Did that excuse betrayal?
No.
But it muddied the revenge high. Left a bitter aftertaste like cheap bourbon. Marcus crashed on my couch more than his own place, a sleek two-flat in Ukrainian village he couldn't stand without her ghost. She was intense, he'd say, nursing IPAs from the six-pack I'd stocked. Intense. Code for the storm that swept him up, left wreckage. We talked late, piecing her puzzle, the Philly accent fake, layered over Spanish lilt, the consulting gigs, really ghostwriting for shady packs. You saved me. Mads, he'd slur one night, head on my shoulder. From her. From myself.
Saved.
The word hung. Heavy. Was I savior or avenger? The swap had let me puppeteer her downfall. But in saving him, I'd orphaned myself from forgiveness. The real tension brewed in boardrooms. Partners grumbled. Can she handle it? The scandal girl? I handled it with Elena's edge. Sharp suits from Nordstrom Rack. Negotiations laced with her cutthroat charm. Closed a merger for a fintech startup. Billables soaring. Power tasted sweet. Addictive. But tainted. During a late-night review, alone in the office with the city glittering below, I caught my reflection not quite mine. Jaw set harder. Eyes hooded. Echoes. Then the letter started. From Cook County Jail. Scrawled in her looping script on lined paper that smelled faintly of bleach. First one arrived with probate docs. Madison, you think you won. But you wore me like a skin. Felt the cracks. Philly shadows chase us both now. Code phrase. She remembered fragments.
Piece the glitch.
I burned it in the brownstone's fireplace. Watched flames dance like accusations. Second, details. The night I dosed your wine? Not roofies, just enough to blur. You signed the transfer. Whispered for family. Complicit. Sis. Rage surged. I drove to the jail. Demanded conjugal? No. Visitor's booth. Plexiglass between. She looked smaller. Stripped of armor. But eyes burned. You exploited the key, she hissed through the speaker. Dad's rainy fund? That was my escape stash.
You.
Now feds have it all. Tit for tat. But her voice cracked. The swap. I saw your probation tears. Mom's wreck, you blamed yourself. Drove that night.
Lie.
Or echo. Mom's crash was icy roads. Drunk driver fleeing. But doubt wormed in. Our talk devolved, accusations flying like barbs. You betrayed blood, I spat. Framed me for your sins. She leaned close. Sins? Your dad knew, hired me to clean books. Then cut me out. You, the enforcer. Bearing my proof to play martyr.
Dad knew?
The twist inverted. He'd recruited her for the gray areas. Then scapegoated when heat came. I took the fall not just for family, but his empire. Hidden secret.
Chiseled deeper.
I left shaking. Drove aimless through the Dan Ryan at rush hour. Horns blaring like fury. Pulled over at a White Castle. Scarf sliders that tasted like ash. Called my therapist. Moral injury she diagnosed. Revenge as trauma loop. Bullshit psychobabble. But it stuck. Back home, Marcus waited with takeout tie, call back to her innocent visits. Saw you on the news. Testifying soon?
Yeah.
Grand jury in 2 weeks. My words sealing her fate. 20+ for wire fraud. Conspiracy. But power shifted. A client dinner at Gibson's, stakes the size of hubcaps. Power brokers in Brioni turned pivotal. Seated next to a DOJ suit. Off-record chat over scotch. Vasquez case?
Tight.
But Hale's senior's files, we eyed him too. Dad? Clean on paper. But whispers of kickbacks. Favors forpos. Elena's drop had cracked it open, feds circling. My firm, my legacy, under microscope. Controversial decision. Tip them anonymous. Bury Dad's sins with hers? Or shield? Become the fixer he raised? I chose gray. Leaked select docs, enough to redirect from the firm. Pin more on her network. Cartel extradition loomed. She'd face worse south of the border. Victory.
Pyrrhic.
Marcus found out. Confronted over breakfast burritos. You're like her now, playing God.
Stung.
But he hugged me after. Just.
Don't lose you.
Trial week hit like a nor'easter. Downtown. Jury of 12. Teachers. Retirees. A nurse who eyed me sympathetic. Prosecution painted her as mastermind. Timelines. Ledgers. My video confession from her lips. Defense? Coerced? Unstable. They subpoenaed me. Grilled on the hallucination. I stonewalled. Grief. I was with Dad. Jury bought it. Guilty on all counts. Sentencing. 25 years. No parole. As cuffs clicked, she locked eyes. Echoes fade. Madison. But shadows? Eternal. Court TV ate it up. Heiress avenges betrayal. Inside the Hale dynasty fall. Offers rolled. Podcasts. Book deals. I declined. Funneled energy into pro bono, cybercrime clinics for the framed, the overlooked. Irony, using her tactics for good. But the UM lingered. Storage unit cleared. Sold the space. Key tossed in the lake during a solo sail on Dad's old sunfish. Felt lighter, but hollow. Marcus dated again, a barista from Andersonville. Sweet. Drama-free. You approve? He asked.
Hell yes, I lied.
Masking the ache for what we lost. One night, storm raging off the lake. I dreamed the swap reversed. Me and Supermax. Her free, whispering Philly shadows to pull me under. Woke to a final letter. Smuggled somehow. You exploited the key, but it unlocked us both. Forgive or join me in the dark. I kept it this time. Folded in Mom's quilt remnant. Debate rages in my head. Justice or vendetta? Happy ending, firm thrives. Brother heals.
She pays. Beatgate.
Dad's ghost haunts. Echoes whisper her pain as mine. Chicago endures. Windswept and unyielding. Mirroring the mess we made. Who's the villain now? Fall turned to winter. Chicago's bite sharpening like a switchblade. Frosting the brownstone windows with patterns that looked like barred cells. The firm hummed new hires. Fresh cases. A corner office with a view of the bean reflecting my fractured silhouette. Success. American dream repackaged, from probation pariah to powerhouse attorney. Billboards off I-94 touting, hail justice, fighting the frames. Marketing gold. But every client consult felt like penance. Their stories echoing mine, betrayed by kin. Systems rigged against the loyal. Marcus thrived too. Or faked it well. Promoted at his sales gig. Dating the barista, Lila. With freckles and a laugh like wind chimes. They hosted Sundays. Pot roast in the crock pot. Cubs games on the flat screen. Normalcy stitched from our scars. To new chapters, he'd toast with Malort shots. That worm would burn a nod to old pains. I'd smile, clink glasses, but catch Elena's echo in his easy grin, the way he'd soften for a strong woman, blind to red flags. The letters persisted, contraband slipping through cracks like water under doors. Jailhouse scribes, maybe a guard on the take. Each one shorter, sharper. Dreamed of you in my skin, signing away my soul. Fair trade. I archived them now. Digital folder labeled shadows, cross-referenced with case files. Paranoia or preparation? Her appeal loomed. Federal Appeals Court in the Seventh Circuit. Arguments in spring. Defense sniffing for procedural errors. Ineffective counsel. Even witness tampering via my delusions. Boss's ghost resurfaced too. A tip from a PI I'd hired, cheap rate. Ex-cop from the 18th District, led to a trailer in Calumet City. Rusted Airstream parked by the CalSag channel. He answered the door twitchy. .38 bulging in his waistband. You again? Thought it was done. Not even close. Over lukewarm PBRs. He spilled. The tech wasn't his, poached from a DARPA Black project. Neural diplomacy for interrogations. Swaps for empathy training. But you? Off books. Revenge mod. Side effects? Permanent bleed if prolonged. Echoes aren't glitches.
Hail.
They're bridges. You and Vasquez? Link now. Synapses firing cross-map. Bridges. The word chilled. Explained the dreams. The slips. I'd catch myself negotiating with Elena's cadence. Cold calculus over empathy. Tested it. Hired a hypnotist in Wicker Park. Sessions in a velvet-draped room smelling of sage. Under. I relived the hack night. Wine glass heavy. Her hand on mine guiding the pen. For us, she'd murmured. Complicit?
Halfway.
I'd suspected fuzzily. Sign to fix the mess. Protect Dad's slush fund she'd exposed. Mistake gambled on family. Lost big. Hypno unlocked more. Mom's crash. Official. Black ice. Fleeing driver. But Elena's file had a photo, taillights matching a car registered to Dad's client, a union boss with Philly ties. Cartel adjacent? Mom tailing a lead for Dad. Unpaid PI work in her grief-fueled vigilantism. She'd crashed pursuing, not accident. Dad buried it, autopsy hushed. Insurance payout funneled to the firm. I took the frame to shield not just Elena, but his complicity. Deep cut, the crime I bore, his layered under hers. Confronted Marcus over pierogies at a Polish joint in Avondale.
Dad.
And Mom. His face drained, fork pausing midair. He told me.
Mads.
Years ago. Loose ends. Said you were too young to carry it. Too young? I was 22. Interning. Idolizing. Betrayal tripled. Dad's empire built on our blood. Elena the spark. Me the extinguisher. Marcus wept. First time since the wedding. I stayed silent for you. Thought it'd break you more. Bonds reforged in fire. We hired a specialist. Pro bono for Mom's case. Cold file dusted. Driver ID'd. Extradited from Florida. Charges stuck. Vehicular manslaughter. Cover-up ties to Dad's old logs. Justice delayed. But mine. Media spun it gentle. Hail legacy. Seeking truth post-tragedy. Ratings bait. But healing for us. Elena's appeal prep ramped tension. Subpoenaed again. This time deposition in a sterile conference room off Wabash. Court reporter clicking like a metronome. Her lawyer. A blowhard with a comb over. Probed. MS. Hail. Your possession claims. Hallucinations from stress? I leaned in. Voice steady. Call it intuition. Her action spoke. Played the video. Her confession in her voice. Marcus's shock raw. Jury pool would eat it. But as tape rolled, her eyes across the table via video link from jail, pierced. You feel it.
Don't you?
The pull. Post-depo. Migraine hit like a truck, echoes surging. Flashed, her supermax cell. Concrete echoing with screams. Nights plotting escape. Not mine. But felt it, the isolation. The rage at betrayal. Sympathy? Twisted. Controversial. Part of me rooted for her out. To balance the scales. Drove to the lakefront. Grant Park benches, slick with sleet. Screamed into wind until hoarse. Decision loomed. Testify at appeal or recuse. Firm partners urged distance. PR nightmare. Marcus begged. End it. Sis. I chose fire. Full witness. Cross-exam ready. Court day dawned brutal. Wind whipping off the water. Federal building a fortress of glass and steel. Gallery packed. Reporters. True crime podcasters. Even a distant cousin from Milwaukee sniffing inheritance crumbs. She entered cuffed. Transformed, hair cropped practical. Jumpsuit hanging loose. But posture regal. Our eyes locked as I took the stand. Judge's gavel cracked like thunder. Prosecution recapped. Fraud. Conspiracy. The will as Exhibit A. My turn. Detailed the frame. The swap sand sci-fi. Eerie parallels, I called it. The files from the unit. Defense hammered. Bias. Familial grudge. I parried. Truth isn't grudge. It's reckoning. Crossfire peaked. You profited. MS.
Hail.
Firm boomed post-scandal. True. Revenge lucrative. Loaded. I paused. Echoes humming, her voice in my head. Exploit the key. Answered. Justice isn't profit. It's release. Jury nodded. Judge sustained objections.
But seed planted.
Recess. Hallway scuffle, her lawyer accosting Marcus. Whispers of settlement. He rebuffed, but later confessed. She offered dirt on Dad, full ledger, in exchange for reduced time. Dirt we half knew, but completeness?
Tempting.
I shut it down. No deals with devils. Appeal ruled swift. Denied. Bail pending higher courts. But Supermax held firm. As gavel fell, she mouthed across room. Bridges burn both ways. Chilling. Post-verdict drinks at the Berghof, old-school German beer garden. Steins foaming, Marcus raised glass. To Bridges crossed. But mine creaked. Unstable. Spring thawed. But frost lingered internal. Lila proposed to him. Ring from a jeweler in Oak Park. Simple gold. Wedding planning ensued. Venue hunt in the Gold Coast. Guest lists debated over Zoom. Elena, he asked tentative. I blinked. Hell no. But echoes whispered inclusion. Twisted mercy. Controversial. Invite the villain. Force confrontation? Or salt the wound. Opted middle. Anonymous letter to her. Wedding invite clipped from the Trib Society page. Shadows invited. RSVP in dreams.
Petty?
Cathartic. Response, nothing. Or everything, dream that night. Her at the altar. Toasting to exploits. For milestone, pro bono win. Client exonerated on cyberframe. My name in ABA journals. Power solidified, but hollow without Dad's gruff attagirl. Visited his grave in Rose Hill, marble slab under oaks. Mom beside. We carried it all, I murmured. Keychain remnant, now a necklace, clutched tight. Marcus's bachelor party, ribeyes at Morton's. Cigars on the balcony, overlooking the river. Stories flowed, kid antics. Elena's red flags missed. You saw her first, he admitted. Smoke curling. Protected me. Protected. The word circled back. Wedding day, June bloom in Millennium Park. Lurie garden lush. Vows under pavilion. I walked him down. Arm linked. Lila radiant in lace. As they kissed, echoes peaked, Elena's jealousy flashing. Her lost chance. Tears mine, hers, blurred. Honeymoon send-off, O'Hare chaos. Hugs fierce. Alone. Brownstone echoed. Poured view. Solo toast. To loose ends. But one dangled, Voss's tech. Bridges. PI update. Voss fled to Toronto. But blueprints surfaced dark web. Neural justice kits. DIY swaps for the vengeful. Temptation? Shut it down. Tipped Interpol anonymously. No more echoes. Or so I thought. Fall again. Leaf peeping drive to the dunes. Indiana sands whispering secrets. Phone buzzed unknown. Voicemail. Her voice, recorded pretrial? Madison. The key unlocked truth. Dad's crash cover was for you. Your internship accident. He pushed the frame to test loyalty. We both danced to strings.
Lie?
Or final twist. Dad's moo-moo. Us pawns. Debate eternal. Puppet or puppeteer. I burned the message. Drove home, through twilight. Chicago lights beckoning like false promises. Revenge complete. But the cost? A life half mine. Shadows shared. Who's free now? Years stacked like cordwood winters. Chicago's rhythm grinding on. Blizzards burying sins. Summer's scorching regrets into ash. The firm morphed. Hail Justice LLP. Satellite in Milwaukee. Staff ballooning to 20. I mentored now. Sharp-eyed associates calling me the closer. Cases won on intuition honed by betrayal's blade. Boardrooms bowed. But solitude stalked. King bed cold. Night scrolling case law till dawn. Wine bottle half empty by 3. Marcus and Lila? Solid oak. Kid on the way. Gender reveal at a bear's tailgate. Blue smoke bombs for the boy. Junior, he joked over FaceTime from their Logan Square row house. Hail blood runs deep.
Deep.
Layered with secrets we'd unearthed. Mom's file closed posthumous. Driver doing time in Stateville. Dad's ledger? Audited cleanish. Charitable trusts laundering the gray. We'd honored him messy. Scholarships in Mom's name. Cyber ethics seminars. Legacy. Fractured but standing. Elena's appeals exhausted. SCOTUS denial in 28. A footnote in legal blogs. Vasquez v. U.S. No haven for digital deceit. She vanished into the system. Transfer to FCI Alderson. Women's camp in West Virginia hollers. Club fed for white-collar witches. Rumors trickled. Yoga instructor gig. Book club dissecting Atwood. No more letters, bridge burned. Or just quiet. Echoes faded to murmurs. Therapy's toolkit. EMDR sessions in a Lincoln Park high-rise. Eye movements chasing phantoms. Integration, the shrink called it. Her pain as your strength.
Strength.
I'd testify pro bono now. Innocence projects. Framing the framers. One case mirrored mine. Sister accused in bro's Ponzi. Took the fall for love. Acquitted on my cross, her hug post-verdict. You get it. Yeah. Got it too well. Controversy brewed fresh. A client. Tech bro from Silicon Prairie. Accused of IP theft. His defense? Neural hack competitor swapped in. Stole secrets. Jury balked. But judge ordered psych eval. Echoes stirred. I pushed dismissal. But doubt gnawed. Post-trial loss. Headlines. Hail firm fumbles fringe claim. Partners murmured. Stick to bread and butter. I doubled down. Launched a digital autonomy division. Seminars on neural privacy. Forward guard against Vasa spawn. Personal front. Dated sporadically. App swipes yielding lawyers like me. All edges and ambition. One stuck. Briefly, Alex. Prosecutor from the PA's office. Irish lilt and a laugh that thawed. Dinners at Alinea. Molecular gastronomy mirroring our guarded hearts. Your story, epic, he'd say over deconstructed tacos.
Epic.
Tabloid term. But he saw layers. The martyr. The avenger. Bed shared. Bodies sinking without swaps. Raw.
Real.
But echoes intruded. Mid-thrust. Her whisper. Men break for power. Sabotaged it subtle. Picked fights over case ethics. Ghosted after his promotion. Alone again. Better safe. Marcus's boy arrived screaming. Declan Hale. Red-faced scrappiness. Godmother duties. Hospital gown crinkling. Tiny fist gripping my finger. Ann Mads. Lila cooed. Exhausted glow. He needs your fire. Fire. Bank now. But embers warm. Weekends. Zoo trips to Lincoln Park. Giraffes looming like judges. Declan giggling at seals. Normalcy. Hard one. Twist resurfaced autumn 30. Package at the firm. No return. Manila envelope. Postmarked Alderson. Inside. Flash drive. Handwritten note. Truth's last key. Burn after. Elena. Plugged in. Heart thudding. Videos. Not hers, Dad's. Hidden cam from his study. Time-stamped precancer. Him and her. Late night. Bourbon glasses clinking. The frame was Mercy. Elena. Madison soft. Would have cracked under full weight. Full weight. Mom's crash? Dad's affair. The driver his lover's brother. Covered to shield scandal. Elena. And the hack? My cut for silence. Hacked. She steals files to bury affair traces. He pins on me. Loyal daughter takes bump for family image. Reversal gutted. I suffered not just her crime, but his orchestration. She'd been pawned too, coerced by his opportunities, then cut loose when heat rose. We're mirrors, her voiceover on the drive, recorded post-swap glitch. Her piecing my memories. You exploited the will key, I exploited his guilt. But the storage? Mom's gift to us both. Quilts hid her journals. Outing his lies. Journals. Scanned PDFs. Mom's script furious. Richard's shadows. Philly trips not business. Girl there. Elena's kin.
Kin.
Twist inverted again. Elena. Dad's bastard? Affair spawn. Hidden to protect Marcus's pure line. Blood betrayal. Deepest cut. She'd framed me to claim throne. But he rewrote will despite her claim, leaving the unit key as clue. Mom's quilts embroidered with dates.
Proofs.
Sobs racked. Office door locked. Skyline blurring. Called Marcus. Truth bomb. Dad. Our dad. His silence thundered. Drive to Logan. Pieced it frantic. DNA kit expedited. Results confirming. Half sibs. Elena the shadow sister. He played us all. Marcus choked. For the firm. Legacy over love. Decision. Controversial core. Confront her? Free her on new evidence. Fraud on the court. His coercion? Or bury? Let Supermax be her cage? Debated nights. Declan napping oblivious. Lila. Mercy heals. Marcus. Justice first. Chose hybrid. Petition for clemency. Anonymous brief to pardon attorney. Coerced testimony. Paternal manipulation. No names. But trails led. Elena paroled 32. Conditions. No contact. Witness protection west. Last echo. Postcard from Reno. Desert scrawl. Shadows shared. Thanks for the key. Ending. Debatable feast. Happy. From Global. Declan calls me boss aunt. Marcus runs branch office. I marry Alex Redix. Reconnected at a conference. Forgiveness forged. By Kitsch. Dad's grave untended. Mom's journals ash. Blood tied to Elena, a scar itching. We meet once. Neutral ground, Vegas coffee shop. Her aged. Lines etched. Exploit over, she asks. Or new bridge. Handshake tentative. Bridges maybe mending. Chicago endures. Skyline sentinel. Revenge's arc bent. Not broke. From will's key to soul's lockpick. Who's exploited now? Reader. You decide. Villain redeemed. Or cycle eternal. I walk the mag mile. Wind it back. Key necklace glinting. Shadows? Mine to cast.